Hi everyone, it's Becky here. Welcome to another new video on my YouTube channel. And today I am going to Vancouver by car. And today is a rainy day, but I'm still feeling pretty inspired to sketch. Here I am outside Honolulu Coffee, located in the neighborhood of Kerrisdale in Vancouver. Here I am sitting down at a little round table beside the window. I ordered a cup of latte and a roast beef. So I'm going to spend about 10 minutes to draw and paint my cup of coffee and the sandwich before they get cold. So I'm starting with the ellipse shape of the cup's opening, the round body shape, and the handle. Drawing the base of the cup and using very loose lines to show the soft rim of the cup, the outline of the little dish underneath. So this line, this curve inside the outline is not as strong as the outline of the plate, and same for the shallow area inside the little dish. Now I'm just using very quick little bubble shapes to show the foam on the surface of my latte, and very quick lines to show the fern pattern right there. And now I'm ready to sketch my sandwich. So the sandwich is actually a pretty organic cube shape, starting with the top, which is almost a square. The base, now I'm drawing the other half, is very much like a cube shape, divided into two pieces of bread, and drawing these veggies in the middle of these two pieces. So the veggies and also the slices of roast beef. Now I just drew that little soft curve to show the thickness of the bun on top, adding a bit of bubbles and textures in between the bread. And again, this curve shows the thickness of the bun here on top. Alright, so the drawing part is done. Now I'm ready to grab my water brushes to paint watercolors, and a towel to clean the tip of my brush constantly every time I change color. This is my large tip Holbein Water Brush, and this one is my Deserres brand water brush. So starting with the Holbein Water Brush to wet the whole areas of the coffee and bread, adding on a blend of yellow ochre and medium yellow, very much diluted for the very first layer. So the coffee and sandwich have very similar colors, like yellows, oranges, and browns. So yeah, so the first layer's color is very much the same. Now I'm grabbing a little lime green mixed with cerulean blue to get this fresh minty color for the ceramic cup and the little dish. Controlling the water amount a little bit so the cup and the little dish sort of shines a bit in certain areas. And grabbing a little bit of orange and yellow ochre, this time containing less water for the second layer of the coffee. So now the coffee has a bit of contrast, and same for the sandwich. They have very similar colors. This is a mix of orange and yellow ochre and a little bit of burnt sienna. Yeah, so the sandwich has a little bit more brown or burnt sienna tones, especially on top. Yeah, some more fresh burnt sienna around the edges of these two sandwich pieces. And for the color of the roast beef, I mixed burnt sienna with a little bit of red or magenta. And now grabbing a little bit of verdant green and mix it a little bit with the lime green for the leafy greens above the roast beef in there. Now quickly moving on to add a little bit of stain around the inner wall of the cup with the leftover brown. Mixing burnt sienna with raw umber. So this is the darkest brown that I see around the outskirt of the coffee surface. So when I'm looking at coffee, I see multiple tones of yellows, oranges, and browns, not just one kind. And same for the bread buns, adding a little retouches around the edges. Yeah, some retouches here and there with diluted paint and very small brush strokes. Now adding the second layer for the cup and the little dish. So this is a darker tone of green, like Viridian green, also containing less water. So now with this second layer of green adding on top, I'm able to show the shine of the ceramic surfaces of the little dish and the cup. Leaving some streaks from the previous layer unpainted is a really easy and effective way to show the shine of ceramic or anything else. And adding the little shadows using leftover gray in my palette for the sandwiches and for the bottom of the little dish. This is a mix of ultramarine blue and a little bit royal purple diluted. So I always mix my own gray. So here's the look of my finished sketch. It took me just 10 minutes to finish drawing and painting. Now it's time to enjoy the food and coffee. And afterwards, I moved to another table so I have a better view of the cafe interior. Now I'm ready to sketch this view right in front of me. So I always sketch freehand without using a pencil first. So I'm starting to draw this old man standing by the counter waiting for his order. And just keeping that face really simple with a dot for the eye and a little smile. Now I just draw the hoodie of his jacket, the shape of his jacket, and two legs overlapping. It's a very typical side view of someone. Adding a bit of accentuation and fold of his jacket, little shadow areas underneath the jacket. Now I'm ready to move on to drawing the things around him. I think this is a counter area on his right. Now drawing another man looking at the merchandise of this coffee shop. Here by the counter in the very middle of this interior. Again, keeping that face really simple. When we're sketching people from real life observations, we don't have to really get like a photo likeness of that person. Now I'm starting to add these very important details that suggest the interior perspective here, starting with these lines going upwards towards the left, between the wall and the ceiling on the left. And the exit sign. And there's like a floating platform around the ceiling here in a creative geometrical shape. So just tracing out this shape, a little curve there on the right. It is a floating platform. And there are about 4 lamps dangling from this platform. So just drawing the wire and the shape of the lamp hood, which is roughly a cone shape, and the light bulb in there. Now trying to finish this area, yeah, that back line there. And another lamp hanging. As you can see, the base of the wire is a little lower compared to the previous one, and even lower because of perspective. That's the third one, and the fourth one here, even lower, because this is how perspective works. So the general rule of perspective is that everything that goes further away from the viewer is going to get shorter and smaller. Alright, so now I'm moving on to the left side of the sketch to add these tiny little shapes of clutters of their snacks and this little fridge selling cold drinks. And some more little stacks of items there around the counter area. Adding a little bit of accentuation underneath the beam. And these tiny little lights on the ceiling. Now I'm drawing this little light above the barista. And she's happily serving a customer, the old man there. And now I'm ready to draw the lamp closer to me and the viewer. Is bigger because of perspective. Things closer, it's going to look bigger than the ones in the distance. Starting to add these canned drinks in the fridge inside this box shape. And adding some final bits of details around the edge close to the column here. Now I'm drawing the thickness of the column, and there's a lamp beside it, only I can see half of it. And drawing the shelves and other abstract details. There's actually a little coffee pot or something here on the windowsill. And another line going down that I see sort of defines the perspective of that space there, even though it's really small. And adding the volume for this column here. It's a really thin and long piece of rectangular prism. And these lines that helps to show the surface bend. And adding some final accentuations around the outline of this column and window frame area. Now I'm ready to move on to the right side of this sketch. Starting with the Christmas tree here in the foreground. So I actually did this cafe sketch on the last day of 2022. So just use quick and loose line to draw the foliage form of the Christmas tree and the circles for the colored balls. On the tree, there's a little gift box underneath the tree. And using these squiggly lines to make the foliage texture really clear and more convincing. So drawing this counter area where they display their merchandise here. It's like roughly a box shape with a lot of items on top. And also finished drawing the shoes of the man there looking at those items. Drawing the door frames and the pictures hanging on the back wall. And now I'm ready to move on to the very right side, the window frames. And now I want to add a lady sitting down here beside the tree. She's chatting with her friends, and this is the bench. And now drawing the shape of her friend's head, almost completely overlapped behind, and the little table there. And now just finishing these window frames. So this view in front of me is not super interesting or ideal to sketch as it seems as I'm illustrating right now. My illustration is trying to make the boring and the mundane more interesting by capturing the sense of perspective and the cute little details and the people. So the line work is done. It took me about 20 to 25 minutes to draw. So before painting watercolors, I want to add some final lines that I sort of missed. So the upper left is a little bit bland. Just adding these little lamps and these tiles that help to show the perspective of the ceiling even better. Now I'm ready to paint watercolors. So just wetting the whole area with a little clear water by squeezing the water brush and punching on this mix of lemon yellow and cadmium yellow. Yeah, so as always, this yellow is super diluted to show the mellow glow of the interior lighting. Now, second layer, especially for the back wall, the tropical colors of this cafe, using a lot of fresh lime green and yellow blending together, and peacock green for some of the other areas. Some more concentrated yellow-orange for the lamps. And adding a little mellow orange glow for the floor. A little bit leftover orange brown for some of the lamps. So really trying to create a nice balance between warm and cold colors. Now starting to add a bit of shade as I see in certain places with my own gray that I mix with blue and royal purple and a little bit green. And putting on a layer of light gray for this column over here to show the volume of the rectangular prism shape. Adding some more diluted gray for this ceiling area up there. and a little bit purplish gray by mixing more royal purple and more blue in certain areas. So grays could be always lightly. It doesn't have to be a mix of water with black. I like to mix my own with different ratios of blue, royal purple, and green. And now putting on these fresh red for these ornamental bowls on the Christmas tree and leaving out white spots somewhere in the middle to show the highlight of the plastic or metallic surface. And diluted viridian green for the Christmas tree. Second layer wet onto wet, a less diluted viridian green to show a sense of volume and the texture of foliage for this tree by leaving some gaps unpainted from the previous layer. I think this Christmas tree here on the right hand side, it really adds a nice balance to this sketch with my coffee cup on the left because they have similar colors. And now just adding on some vibrant yellow orange around the ceiling area a little bit more. Grabbing some red and yellows for the canned drinks. Some more grays for the metallic surface of the fridge. Sometimes I do use black because this interior is largely covered by a lot of gray tones. And I think sometimes black, it could sort of stand out better and to grab the viewer's attention even better because the black door over there is actually like a central focus where the platform of the ceiling is leading into, and also the vanishing point is somewhere there on the black door. And now I'm adding some more gray tones, some purplish grays and bluish grays for that floating platform there. Yeah, to show 3-dimension. So for all 3-dimensional surfaces in the world, even though it seems really flat, it always has like an uneven layer or transitions of different kinds of grays on it if you observe very deeply. So now I just painted the jackets of the two men in the middle of this picture. I used like a more vibrant purple. And I remember he was wearing like a red or purplish jacket. Alright, and adding some more leftover colors like the muted yellows and grays for the areas here and there, little shadows. And painting this lady's sweater, her hair, she's Asian, and she's wearing a black sweater, black pants. Final polish. That's it. And here is a look of my finished sketch. So in total, it took me about 45 minutes to draw and paint on location. And I always love to finish everything on location because I could feel the world, the energy very deeply by engaging my whole self in the real life situation. And thank you so much everyone for watching this video. If you like it, please click like and leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates. And I'll see you again very soon next time. Have a great day everyone. Bye!